everybody, and welcome to episode. What? What?
Oh, wait, yeah, we're live. Yeah, we're live now.
Okay. Now? Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 2 of the Senshi Annie Girls podcast. This is Shay, and I am here with my other co-host, Lita. Say hello.
What's up, everybody?
All right, everybody. So we have a new topic to discuss today. First of all, if you guys don't know, I'm Shay, and I run a anime blog and also an anime YouTube channel. And Lita, my other co-host here, also runs an anime blog and a YouTube channel as well. So check out both of our channels and blogs and stuff. But anyway, for this episode, we have decided to discuss how do our parents and our friends feel about anime? Because I know it's probably a topic a lot of us have encountered.
Everyone's had definitely a different experience with this, definitely. And I guess we'll talk about from a parent's perspective first before we go on to friends. So I'm going to let Shay. So probably for this topic, we'll probably go into first we'll cover when was the first time that you or your parents discovered that you liked anime?
Well, for me, it was actually pretty young. It was probably when I was 6 and when I was really, really into Sailor Moon. My mom kind of knew more so than my dad because for my birthday and stuff like that, I always wanted like a Sailor Moon birthday cake or something that was Sailor Moon. And I always wanted to be Sailor Moon for Halloween. So my mom was probably introduced very early that I was really into anime. My dad later on was probably when he my dad probably pretty early as well. And my brother was very much into Dragon Ball Z. Now that they understand it, no. What about you, Lita? When did your parents first?
Well, I'd say it was from a really early age, and also I understand that people are telling me my audio is really bad. I know I am currently in the process of purchasing a proper microphone at the moment, so I do apologise for my choppy mic. Sorry, guys. So when I first saw that, I really liked anime or cartoons, they just saw me like watching, like getting. I've mentioned this in previous past live streams that, I used to, get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to see Dragon Ball Z, see the wonderful Goku. Oh dear. And I think I said this in the very first podcast we did, that my dad secretly randomly mentioned like 3 weeks ago that he used to like stand in the hallway while I was sitting in the lounge room watching an episode of Dragon Ball Z, and he'd be watching it as well. And then I remember he just randomly comes out like a few weeks ago at dinner saying that he knows about Vegeta and Dragon Ball Z. He's going through all the characters. And I'm like, how do you know all this? And then that's like when he just randomly blurts out, "Oh yeah, I used to stand in the doorway and watch it with you." I'm like, but you technically weren't with me. So my parents knew, and also from like when I'd spend endless hours on the computer. Oh, I could go 15 hours or more straight on the computer. I was like enveloped in it. I was, and they knew from all the images I was looking at, like Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff. But I know, still, even back then, I didn't even know that was considered called anime. I really, really didn't know. I didn't know that until obviously I moved to Australia when I was 15. I've talked about previously as well, but it wasn't until like I met my friend who told me like it was actually called anime. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that my parents didn't really ask me much about what I was looking at like on the internet or anything. When I was like sitting there like 40 hours straight, they didn't ask me anything. They were kind of, most of the time it was just yelling of like, get off the computer, you know, like you need to. These sisters can go in there. I hate sharing siblings. If anyone is going through that themselves, I feel you because I know the pain of it. We had the one computer, the one family computer. It was a pain.
Trust me, I definitely understand that.
Yeah. So so when was it that like so when was it as you like really, you know, I remember you saying I think the last podcast like you got into anime like a bit older in your life, like towards college and stuff. And so did your parents start noticing that you were getting into anime then?
They did. So as many people know, I took kind of a break, I guess, from anime when I was definitely like in high school and stuff like that. Towards the latter part of high school, I got kind of back into it and kind of felt nostalgic. So I started rewatching a lot of the old shows that I watched, like Yu Yu Hakusho, Rurouni Kenshin, and stuff like that, just so I can see how they ended. Because I never saw how the shows actually ended, and as well as Inuyasha as well. But definitely when I got into college was when I kind of like exploded with watching different animes, ones that weren't so mainstream. I think it wasn't until though when I started buying the DVDs, and I used to always I still do go with my dad to Best Buy and would buy, yes, and I would buy the DVDs. And that's when my dad started to realize that I was really into this. And his comments were always that he thought they were just cartoons. So he was always just like, those are cartoons. He's like, those are kind of kiddish and stuff like that. And my mom, though, was more so just like, hey, I don't care. She cared what I was doing, but she was kind of just like, it's not like you're doing anything destructive, so it's okay. She didn't mind it that I was watching these things. And I would just sit in my room and watch them on my computer. More so than anything, wasn't like, and I had my own laptop, so it wasn't like I had to share with anybody. But that's when they started to notice a lot more. Because I would talk about it, and I started to definitely do a lot more research too when I was older, as far as not just trying to watch different shows, but also about learning more about the industry as well. So knowing more about like voice actors, voice acting, the different not networks, but the different anime companies that there are, not only here in the US, but also in Japan and also different other places. Learning more about the voice actors themselves. So that's when they started to really notice it was definitely when I was older, because they saw I was doing a lot more research, talking about it a little bit more, definitely just embracing it a lot more and not really caring what other people thought about me watching it was. But my dad more so, that's when my dad caught on. That's when my dad started commenting on it a lot more. His exposure to it, though, was a little bit more funnier. Because I used to go to his house and I would watch like Fruits Basket on TV and stuff like that. And it wasn't until he heard the characters cursing that he realized that this wasn't really for kids anymore. And he kind of fell in love with a little bit with Bleach. He loved Bleach because he liked just hearing them say like, you bastard, and stuff like that. And so he loved it. And he also fell in love with Shin-chan. For those of you guys who haven't watched Shin-chan, it is a hilarious show that I like to say is a combination between Family Guy, The Simpsons, and South Park, because it is very, very crude humor, but also really, really funny. And he fell in love with those two shows. He still hasn't fully embraced it completely, and is kind of like still kind of thinks it's kind of kiddish, but I hope he comes around soon. My mom, though, is definitely more accepting of it now, especially since she's gotten a dose of going to a convention. So.
Oh, yeah. Which convention was it? I remember you posting about it, I remember.
I went to SAC Anime last year, and I dragged my lovely mother and two out of my three best friends with me. Two of them were able to go. The other one was not able to due to work. So two of them went, and my mother went, and they were all three of them exposed to the crazy randomness yet fun things that can happen at an anime convention.
Oh, that's awesome. So what did she think of like the whole of the convention?
She thought it was one big Halloween party because of all the costumes and all the cosplay. Well, all the cosplay. And she absolutely loved it. She thought a lot of the cosplays were very, very well done, and she thought they were so amazing because she was like, I can't believe people make these and dress up and stuff like that. And she didn't realize it was going to be that big of a deal until we went down there. And she also didn't realize it was going to be like an all day thing. You know, she thought it was going to be like maybe a couple hours, but when she realized that we were there from like morning till night, she was like, I can't do this being here all these days. But she absolutely loved it. And she also loved going to the panels with me because I wanted to go to these different panels where different voice actors that I knew and really loved and enjoyed were talking. And she would go, and she actually went, and she's like, they're really funny. She's like, they're like comedians. She's like, I love this. And she liked it the most because she was like, I like the fact that I can go to these panels, and even though I had never seen, you know, these shows or these games that they're talking about or like play them, she's like, I'm still able to laugh along with the jokes because they're just really funny and very entertaining. And she's like, I can see why you enjoy it, and I can see why you like this industry. So that's my mom's take on it. So she's definitely, you know, loves it. Now, will she go to another convention? She says she would go, but not for as many days as we went before. She was like, I'll go for like maybe a couple days. But she's like, when we went the entire weekend, she was like, I can't do that anymore.
So do you have any siblings?
I have one older brother, and he was very much into Dragon Ball Z when he was younger. So like he had like the movies and like the history of Trunks and Bardock, the father of Goku, and he had all the Dragon Ball Z toys, and he knew a lot about Dragon Ball Z. That was the only anime show that he really, really got into, besides also Pokemon, just like I was really into it. So we were both into that show. But that's the only one that he was really into. But as of now, he's not a big anime fan like how he used to be, or a big Dragon Ball Z fan. He still enjoys the show, but he doesn't like immerse himself in it as much as me.
Okay, how old your brother now?
He is 29. We are 3 years apart.
Oh, okay. So he's kind of you know, drifted away just a little bit. He has now.
Yeah, he's kind of drifted away, but it's okay. You know, he doesn't like, he knows that is something that I'm still into, and he definitely, you know, embraces the fact that I still like it. So he hasn't like told me that, like, he hasn't like said anything to me about it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. What about you? What about your parents? Have they gone with you to conventions, or have they said anything about, you know, watching it?
Oh, this is gonna be an amusing subject for me. But I just want to point out all the people in chat telling us all their stories and stuff to do their parents. I am reading them. It's really interesting to know. So, well, as I said before, when I you know, moved countries and stuff, when I turned, you know, when I was only like about 15, and like when I met my friend, and that was when I really got into anime. And that's when my parents, I remember the first time I stayed over my friends and marathoned the shit out of Sailor Moon. I remember, oh, that was a good night. And I think after that, it was around my 16th. I think it was on my 16th birthday, and that's when I said to my parents, I'd like this certain box set for my birthday. And it was an anime that my friend had just introduced me to, and it was Angelic Layer, because that was the very first anime I consider anime that I ever watched. And I told them that, you know, I'm into like cartoons and stuff, and I think I might have showed them like one episode of Angelic Layer, and then I think it was my dad that I showed, and obviously you get the initial reaction like, oh, okay, and and I said, I really want this box set. I do. I think at the time it was about $70, I think, at the time. Obviously now it'd be cheaper. And then my birthday comes around, and I thought, oh, well, I thought, nope, they're not gonna get it from me. Nah. And then I look, and then I open the present from them, and there it is. And I thought, how did they manage that? Because like there's there's like an anime store I go to. It's in the city, and then when I was looking at this thing, the first thing that popped in my head was they wouldn't have had a clue where the shop was. They would have been standing there forever trying to explain to the people which anime that I wanted, because when they told me, they actually did go to the store and they're talking to this one of the salespeople there, and they said that it took them about 15 minutes to actually figure out which one it was, and they're trying to remember the name of the anime. I'm just like sitting there laughing my ass off because it was so funny. Just imagine your parents in an anime store trying to figure out which anime was it that she wanted, and they figured it out. So it's pretty special. My parents bought my very first anime ever. It's pretty special.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I've still got it it's in my shelf. It's still there in still spanking new condition. So when I look at it now, I'm always reminded of that like little story. It's pretty special. Like your first anime was ever bought by your parents. So yeah, and then that's when obviously my collecting phase kind of took off, and my parents always saying to me, "So you're getting another thing from Ching Chang Chong." They always say it. I would like order cosplay and whatever, and they call it Ching Chang Chong. They see the dress, and we're like, "Oh wait, it's Jessica's." Off we go. Goes in the room. Up on the bed if I get any packages or anything. Of course, my mum now these days, she's always like, "Now, you haven't spent too much this month, have you?" No. And, well, with the two sides of you explaining like of how your mum and dad kind of accepted it. Now, my mum, my parents are very accepting, like really accepting they are. And my mum's been totally fine with it. She's at points in time, she's come in my room and there'll be like this death scene. I remember when I was watching Shiki, the vampire.
Oh, wow, yep.
I think it was the window bit where I can't remember the name of the guy, the main character, the purple haired guy. He's like lying in bed, and then the annoying pink haired girl, can't remember her name. It's annoying because I can't remember. And she's coming near the window, I'm just like clutching to my cushion and everything. And my mum comes in and there's this creepy music. She's like, "Jessica!" And then like there's the creepy music, and I'm like, Mum, just go. And then she's like slowly shutting the door. She's like, "I don't know what that is, but I don't want to know." And slowly shuts the door. So she's always coming it's always, I think for anyone, parents walk in on the wrong time of day, especially when you're watching a series. And after that, my mum, she hates horror or anything. It's like, I just don't want to know what you were watching, like. So yeah. And then my dad, like, I think I get more along with him on the same line of anime with him, because when I first started getting into cosplay, he would he's made all my cosplay weapons for me.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so he's even talked about starting like up his own, like, I don't know if it's a joke or not, I still don't know. And he's talked about starting up his own little cosplay weapon store, like weapon business, like making weapons for people. And I'm like, you know what, people would definitely pay you a lot of money. They would to watch, like, to make all that stuff. And so he made my recent weapon for me, which was, Songo's big boomerang thing.
Oh wow.
He's pretty accepting. He's very, very accepting of it. He is. So I don't know. Maybe he'll do it for a future thing. But when it comes to cosplay, particularly, they've always been really supportive. Like my mum's, been there with the whole wig thing. We've had many wig scenarios where I'm screaming at the wig. I'm like, just stay on my head. And and it's all tangled up and everything, and it's those are funny. And my parents are like always doing the last touches on me. They are like, before I walk out the door now, you got your money, you got your water, have you got your weapon, have you got your little bits that go with your cosplay? And they're like, they always ask me every time I've gone to a convention they have. So yeah, my parents are pretty accepting of like my hobby and stuff. They are. Hence why they thought I needed a bookshelf for all my anime now. So
That's awesome.
oh god, whoopsie, I talked for too long then. I think, and there is I know you've got a brother, I've got a sister. She's about 19.
Oh wow.
And she's in, my sister has watched the odd anime she has, and her kind of love interest at the moment, he's very much into anime as well. So she sneakily stole anime from my room. I think the very first one she ever watched was called Midori Days, about the guy who wakes on his right hand. And that was an interesting story, but I remember passing her room, and like I could hear her laughing hysterically at it. It just made me smile. I'm like, oh, you've been exposed. And like even the other day, like I was playing, I was like playing with my dog, and you can like in the backyard you can see through my sister's window, and she's like looking up pictures of Elvin Lead and like of Lucy, and I'm like,
oh wow.
Yeah. So, well, she's seen that series a long time ago. So my sister's kind of got an interest in anime, but she's more of a real like gamer. Like she's really into Legends and stuff. But like she recently just came back from Tasmania, and she bought me a Dragon Ball Z poster, which I have yet to post a picture of. But I was surprised. I'm like, oh, you thought of me.
That was nice of her.
So yeah, she and she also came with me to a convention in Melbourne, which was called Melbourne Supernova here in Australia, and she came with me because I wanted to meet. I think I wanted to go mainly. It was to meet Lucy Lawless, who played Xena, the Warrior Princess, and so yeah, we made like a trip out of it, and we only went to the convention for like one day. I think that was about all she could stand, but it was nice that she even like said that she wanted to kind of come with me, and she ended up being enveloped in the whole, she loves Adventure Time. And I remember seeing her standing in the queue, and I remember a few hours earlier, I was like, I don't want to be here. And so she got the autograph of the main character of Jake and Finn as well. So she got
awesome.
them. So yeah, I think we were there most of the day, and it was nice that she came along and was like supportive of all of it. So I didn't expect it to be like fully into it or anything. It was just nice to go with someone, because at the time I had no one to go with, and it was all spur of the moment trip thing. So that's been like memorable. It has, and realizing that as it was the first time we'd ever traveled anywhere together, so that was interesting as well. It's going to be so awesome. You're not going to argue. No, totally argue. Yeah, so as far as for my whole knit of family, they're pretty accepting of it and supportive. Like, I can go to my dad and say, hey, you want to help me make a weapon? And he'll pretty much say yes. So he's so good at what he does. If you guys have seen the picture that I put up of the boomerang, I was even kind of blown away of how he got the shape and everything. I was like, oh, I can never do this. I'm like, no.
That's still really cool.
Yeah. So I apologise. I know my mic is choppy. I have been noticing people say that. I will fix it next time. I promise, guys. Oh, yeah. So it sounds like both of our families are pretty accepting, and I think it's different for everybody. I mean, I've talked to people that have said to me, their parents want nothing to do with it and they just let them do their own thing. Or there's some of, I know girl I used to know, she used to get yelled at a lot of the time for her interest from her parents. They weren't exactly that really supportive, they weren't. And so it's different for everybody, it is. So, you know, it's nice to hear, like, it's nice to hear when someone tells me, like, oh, their parents go to conventions with them, or they help them with their cosplay, or they watch anime with them, or they have the littlest interest means a lot. Definitely to people, it does. In the littlest, it does.
Yeah.
So when it comes to family, yeah, it's a big thing. So
I think for me though, to be honest, it's like my dad is kind of accepting of it, but I think my dad kind of wishes that I wasn't that into it, just a little bit, because I think he still thinks of it as being kiddish. So he still hasn't yet grasped the entire aspect that it's not just for kids, that there's different genres. So yes, there are specific animes that are geared towards kids, but there's also anime that's very, very more adult and have a lot more of an adult storyline. Or there's a lot of more adult like drama, or there's just adult material in it completely, which is just, I think, what my dad doesn't completely understand. Just like he doesn't understand manga at all. He does not get it. He thinks of them as comic books, and he thinks of them as being very kiddish, but in reality, you know, as many of us know who read manga, that there is manga that's geared toward kids, just like any other, you know, genre, like movies or music and stuff like that. So I think in some ways he kind of wishes I wasn't that into it, just because he doesn't completely understand it. But in some ways, I've learned to just try to explain to him what it is just a little bit, but I have yet to actually get him to go with me to a convention. The day he goes with me to a convention is like probably very far away before I can actually get him to one. But as far as me explaining to him, like, that I do like a YouTube channel about it, and I do a blog, and I've done, you know, podcasts, and I'm doing a podcast now about it. He's starting to get to see more of the, as far as, I hate to put it this way, but I guess the business aspect of what I like about it, more so than the entertainment part that I enjoy about it, if that makes sense. My mom gets both the entertainment and the business part of it, reason why I enjoy it. My dad is kind of more so understanding the business portion of it, more, and the fact that it's something that I've learned to incorporate as not only a hobby, but also as a way for me to do more, like, I guess, business stuff with it. I guess that's the one way I can really put it, since, you know, running like a YouTube channel, running things like that can be, you know, something else aside from me like working. So it's another hobby, I guess. Is the only way I can put it.
like, how do they kind of find out you started, well, like, doing videos? Have they like heard you talking in front of the camera, like, while you're at home?
Actually, it's something I mentioned very casually, to be honest.
Okay.
It wasn't, my parents have never heard me like talking to my computer or anything like that, or me talking about it. It's more so when I've had to tell them, like, for example, doing things like this, if I'm like, hey, I have to go home because I have to work on a project, or I have to you know, work on this or work on that, or if I'm watching something, I explain to them why I'm watching it. Then they've kind of gotten, especially when I'm like, oh yeah, like, I run an anime blog, and this is how many, you know, followers I have, you know, I have run a YouTube channel, this is how many subscribers I have. And they're like, oh wow, like, that's really cool. Like, I didn't know that you did that. So that's kind of how they've kind of found out about it. It wasn't like they just happened to hear me talking to myself in my room and wondering if I've gone crazy. It's more so that I've just kind of told them about it. But it was kind of something that I hid. I'll be honest with you. I did hide it for a while, that I run a blog and a YouTube channel, just because I wasn't for sure how to explain it, I guess. And it was something that I wasn't, I guess, because I was afraid of how people, like, how my parents would react to it. Not just my parents, but just also friends in general would react to me running this. And I was kind of shy about it. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, at least you said it casually. It wasn't like that for me at all.
Why, they like burst in your room on you, like talking to yourself in front of a camera?
Well, yeah, you know, like they said at dinner, hey, what are you doing in your room? You know, just streaming anime. That's the wrong thing to say back when I had crappy internet. You know, they'd be like, you're not supposed to do that, meh, meh, meh. And so you've got the same scenario for a lot of people. my parents have actually, I don't know how, I don't know why, but they have somehow watched one of my YouTube videos without even
Oh
knowing.
wow.
And I mentioned maybe one time that my YouTube name was Lita Kino. I'd mentioned that very, very mild, passingly. And then they said, "Oh yeah, we watched one of your videos," and then they're interpreting me. They're like, "What's with the intro? Like, it's you know, and they're like, it's really weird." And watching my videos, and they're like, "Oh my god, you're like so, like." You're so into your videos and you're so full on. I'm like, do people actually enjoy watching you? I'm like, I have no idea. I just, and my mum's, fortunately, a couple of past live streams I've done, she's walked in. And I say I'm chatting to my internet friends. I don't tell her that it's live, otherwise she'll get too embarrassed. And she's walked in and I'm like, oopsie, I think I have to start saying that, I'm doing this, that I'm doing like a live thing. And oh, thank you, Shah. Thank you for saying that. It blows my ears up. I know. Actually, another person mentioned that the other day. I probably should turn down the volume. I keep forgetting to do that every time. I will do that next video, definitely. But yeah, so mum's like, hey, you talking to your friends? Yeah, because she'll wonder why, like, I'm walking the dog really early in the morning, past live stream I've done, and then like I've said, she's like, are you all right? Why do you walk the dog so early? You never hardly walk him early ever. And I'm like, I know you're going to talk to your friends, aren't you? Like, yeah. Yes. So my parents, I try and, like, when I do videos, I like to do it when they're not home.
Yeah.
Home, but sometimes that is hardly ever. So I mostly like recording. At night. Because everyone's like in their own room doing their own thing. So I'm used to kind of being loud and stuff. And so my mum knows, like, when I'm doing. My mum knows what I'm doing usually when I'll walk in the kitchen. Even the other day, it's like, oh, I'm talking to your camera again. Getting out your feelings. Like, yeah. So I kind of make a joke out of it, so they know, like, I do like blogging and stuff, and they're pretty cool with it. So, but yeah, totally different from how it all came about for you.
It was that's very, very different. Like, I don't think my parents fully grasp what I completely do. I'll be honest, because they've never heard me in there recording a video or anything. But I also don't live with my parents anymore, so I live with roommates. As far as my roommates are concerned, I don't think they know I do. If they do, they've not said anything. They might just think I'm going crazy. Which, hey, that's fine. We're all a little bit crazy, but I don't think they know when I record. I try to record when they're not here. And if I do record and I know that they're home, I try to talk lower just in case, so that they're not like, what is she doing?
Okay, I didn't know you didn't. I didn't know you didn't live at home. So
No, I like recently moved out. But my roommates, I don't think they've ever heard me. They've seen me editing videos, like uploading them to YouTube, and I've been like, yeah, they'll say, oh, well, what are you doing on your computer? And I'll just say, oh, I'm uploading a video to YouTube because I run a YouTube channel. And they're like, oh, okay. So I'll just mention it like that, but I won't just, oh, they'll ask me like, well, what do you do your YouTube channel on? And I'll tell them. Do they know what I'm talking about? Probably not. But that's the only thing that they've probably seen me do. Because when I usually record with my door closed. The only time I'll record my door open is if I know that they're not home. But generally, if I know that they're at home, I usually, close my door, record it. And I usually try to record in the mornings, because that's when I don't have like a lamp that I use in my room to like record for light. I usually use natural light from the sun coming in through my bedroom window. So I usually use that. So when I use that, it's generally in the mornings. I try to record either before I go to work, or if it's like my off day, I'll record, in the mornings as well. But generally by that time, they're either gone, or if they're still at home, I'll have my door closed anyway. And if they really do hear me talking, they might think I'm just on the phone. Possibly.
Well, my parents think that I'm just recording the videos nearly every single day. They think if I'm on the phone, they'll automatically think that I'm, talking in front of my laptop, crappy webcam thing. So, that's funny. And I wonder what it's like for other. It makes me wonder, like, what it's like for other people, like when they're
Yeah.
recording videos. Yeah. Wow, that was that was really interesting to know from both like our perspectives about how our parents feel about like
Yeah.
anime.
Now, for my friends, though, it's completely different perspective.
All right, I'll let you take this subject away.
All right. So now that we've talked about families, friends can be a different topic. Like not a different topic, but a different, I guess,
Yeah.
animal entirely. My friends. So I have like, I know everyone probably can maybe speak to this as well. Has two types of friends: friends that are into anime or into things that many people consider nerdy or geeky or whatever, and friends that are not. I have those friends. So I have, and they don't mix. Like they don't mix together. Like I don't mix them, make them become friends or anything. They're very, very separate. So I have my friends, a lot of my friends that I work with and friends that I've met that are very, very much into anime, manga, comic books, everything that I'm basically into, they are into it as well. And then I have my friends that I've been friends with for, let's see, 10 plus years that aren't into it. They know about it because they themselves also as kids watched Pokemon and stuff like that. But I hate to say the term, they kind of grew out of it. They kind of have separated themselves from it. So they don't know very much about it. So for them, they didn't know that I ran a YouTube channel. They didn't know that I ran a blog until I told them about it, and they were very much shocked. They're like, why didn't you tell us? And they were very, very accepting of it. They were like, why did you tell us? Or even when these are the same friends that I also dragged with me to an anime convention. And to be honest, the first time I told them about the anime convention, I actually told them in a sense that I thought they weren't going to go. So it was right for my birthday, and I was just like, hey, what I want to do for my birthday is I want to go to this anime convention. You guys don't have to go. We can do something else once I come back. And they're like, no, we want to go. Why would you think we wouldn't want to go? And so I was like, well, I didn't think you guys were very much into it. They was like, well, it's your birthday, so we're going to go for you. So they went with me. And they didn't know about the YouTube channel or anything like that until I finally told them about it. The same goes, though, also for my friends at work, even the ones that are really into it. When my blog and my YouTube channel, I didn't tell anybody. And I was so afraid of actually anyone finding it. And strangely enough, one of my friends actually pulled it up on our Apple TV at work. And I was so like embarrassed. I hate to say I work, a lot of people come up to me and they're just like, hey, so I heard of a YouTube channel. What is it? I really want to see it. And so I'll tell them what it is, and they'll find it, and they'll usually tell me, what they think of it. And a lot of them have said they really liked it. When I did the guest podcast the guest podcast that many of you guys, huh?
I still haven't finished listening to it. Sorry.
Yes, no, it's okay. When I was a guest on that other the podcast that I was a guest on, I actually ended up posting it onto my Facebook, my personal Facebook page, where I have like friends and family and all of the above, and many people that I've known forever. And I posted it on there, and surprisingly, a lot of my Facebook friends shared it. And then a lot of them also like commented on it and were like, oh my God, I didn't know you did this. That's so cool. And I was just like, wow, I should have told people about this a long time ago. And so a lot of people at work find out that I do it. They think it's really cool. They find it's amazing. A lot of people are like, I kind of commend you for putting yourself out there on the internet, because when you put yourself out there, you're automatically putting yourself out there to be criticized and, all of the above. So it's where, strangely enough, my friends are now very accepting of it. They think it's kind of cool. They don't understand me half the time when I start ranting on about it and I become a complete and total fangirl. But they know that that's just that's me.
Yeah, it sounds definitely different in your situation, so you definitely got a lot of people you can relate to even now, like, you know, for your love for anime, and it's nice that, you know, they're accepting and stuff. um I've like gone through the motion, you know, gone through a lot of motions. I was friends with someone for 9 years. She was the very first, she's the friend I mentioned, that really got me into anime. She's the reason that I got soaked up into it. And, you know, we were friends for like nearly, I've lived in Australia for 11 years now. We were best friends for like 9 years. And then obviously, I'm going to go into detail, but that friendship ended. And ever since then, it felt extremely weird. I really then didn't have anyone to really talk about anime with, to be honest. And so yeah, I was kind of like on my own, but I didn't feel like I was on my own in real life. But when I was like when it came to the internet, it's a completely different story. I felt, you know, more related to a lot of people online. And when I started, that friendship ended like 2 years. That was about 2 years ago now. And then I ended up not being friends with another person as well. And even now, I really don't have, like, you know, I don't have a lot of friends. I've like got one coworker now, and she's also a friend that, you know, likes anime and stuff. So like I can talk about it with her. Depends what anime it is. She likes specific genres. But it was probably worse for me when I was younger. It wasn't until like college, I reckon, I started in England. I really didn't have anyone to talk about it with at all. It was all just internet based for me from when I was 10 up until I think like when I was 14, 15. But getting off, yes, I'm sorry, Otaku Gamer Zone. Well, look, I don't mind being personal with you guys because everyone's so used to me being happy and stuff all the time. But like now, you know, like when I started blogging, and when I started blogging, you know, it all kind of changed for me. You know, I met all these amazing people that are in the chat now. I really do consider you like friends. You know, I can't stand it if like I don't check Twitter like every day or WordPress, anything. I can't stand it. And if I don't, like, you know, talk to you guys, at least whatever I'm tweeting or whatever, you know. So like, you know, Shay and all of you guys, you know, I consider you like all friends. I really do. And I don't know if I'll be able to express that enough. And then when I started doing like face on YouTube videos, I think I didn't really tell anybody about that I was doing face on YouTube videos. I told my coworker, my friend, and but you know, so yeah, I think it's different. It's different for everybody, and also, you know, when you just like you were saying before, you are putting yourself out there. You know, blogging and YouTube is a place I feel that people, you know, have the right to, and they turn to, because obviously a lot of people, they don't have like a lot of people to talk about anime with. That's the reason why they turn to YouTube, blogging, whatever outlet it is. And the one thing I can't stand is when you know, people kind of put themselves out there, and they get, you know, they get trashed for it, or, you know, they just get mauled with all this negativity, and that's when I go mean, Lita. I can't remember I've forgotten how many times in the past I've kind of lost my shit on the internet. I try not to now, you know, try and be, you know, all positive and stuff. But seriously, if somebody was obviously, you know, bagging out one of like any of you guys, then I would definitely come running to your aid. No questions asked now. I've definitely, from doing YouTube, like doing YouTube face on videos, I feel that my confidence has grown. It has.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never, and it's never really affected me. I remember the first time I got like a dislike on one of the videos, and my friend at the time was like, "Oh God, this like, aren't you really sad? I'm like, no, not really. That's just one person. Look, there's like 10. Look, there's like 10 people who've liked it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just one little person. So, so if any, yeah. So, and to anyone that wants to do YouTube blogging, you got to go for it. And if it's not for you, it's not for you. And one of the main reasons that drives me to keep doing YouTube in particular is people that I know watch my videos. I know exactly who the people are. So that continually, it drives you. So if you don't have that driving force, then it's not going to be fun, and it'll feel like a chore, and then you quit, and then that's it. But that's my take on it anyway.
Yeah, I have the same take on it as far as like with me doing YouTube, it has definitely boosted my confidence because I am having to like put myself out there, and it's also having me figure out what it is that I want to do just in life in general, because I've always known I want to do something that was super creative, something that maybe wasn't your usual 9 to 5, and YouTube is something that has been very revolutionary for a lot of people. I know we've kind of deviated from the topic before talking about parents and friends, but I feel like this is something that should still be discussed. Just because it's been something very revolutionary that many people have now seen as being able to do for a career. And I know me, for one thing, I have looked at a lot of other YouTubers for inspiration, not just people who do anime YouTubing, but just who do anime reviews on YouTube, but just people who do YouTube in general. Regardless of the topics or for what they do mostly on what they do on YouTube. As far as like for me, any criticism I have received, I have definitely, of course, received criticism on YouTube. I've posted videos not just on my YouTube channel, but I post my videos on other various websites, such as Anime Amino. I post my videos on there as well via blog posts on there, just because I've been on that site for over 3 years now, probably going on 4.
Month, and then I forgot about it.
Yeah, I've been on there for a while, so I was like, hey, I have a lot of followers on there. I was like, videos out there, so I put them on there, and of course, I've had videos that have been reported. I have videos that have been flagged, that have been on Anime Amino that I've posted due to the topic that I decided to talk about. I've had people call me names on there. I've had people call me names that have been very racist, based on how I look. I've had a lot of those, and it's kind of had you make you have tough skin. I've had people say comments on how I edit my videos, or how they feel like that how the stuff that I post is complete BS, and that they don't see why a lot of people watch it. I've had a lot of people comment on things, and then I don't really engage in anybody who have like said anything about me or about my looks, or want to be really racist.
You're feeding, you're basically fueling the fire. Fueling that.
Yeah, especially if you like comment. Now, I have commented back with people who have said stuff. Like, for example, I had someone who wanted to flag my video as inappropriate due to the content that I decided to post and the topic that I chose to talk about for a discussion. And I had to comment back just because of the fact that I had to explain to the person that commented on my video that it was no reason for it to be flagged, because I had looked at the guidelines of which for my posting the video, and I was within those guidelines. And the reason why he wanted to flag it was purely because of his own means. And that's the only thing that I commented back and forth with. It wasn't anything concerning the content of my video or trying for me to defend my point of view. It was me basically saying, hey, I don't think my video should be flagged because of this. And that was the only reason why time I've ever kind of like commented back, or even as far as when someone commented for my editing style, for how I edit my videos, I did comment back just to tell them that, hey, this is just my editing style. If you don't like it, that's perfectly fine. And I explained my reasoning for why I edit things the way I do. And I also didn't explain it in the next video that I did. So that's the only thing, because I always look at, like you also said, the people that are liking my videos or are commenting, saying positive things. Those are the ones I tend to try to focus on a lot more, and to realize also that the people who are saying these things are behind a screen. And I've learned that people are very bold in commenting and saying the things that they want to say when they're hiding behind a computer.
Yeah.
Just because it's a lot harder to say something to someone in person that's mean. At least from my standpoint, it can be very, very overwhelming to say something mean to someone's face than it is to say something behind a computer, because you can type it out, send it, and that's it. You know, it's not like you're saying it in front of someone's face and you don't have that face-to-face contact.
Yeah, you know, yeah, we're gonna have a real, we're gonna have a real Lita moment right now. This is like honesty that, YouTube is full of, there's a lot of bullshit on YouTube. Let's not all deny it, really.
Yeah.
Like you see every day. I've been criticized. I got criticized. Oh, not really criticized. Like, my intro is too loud. People's eardrums. I'm like, whoops, and it's only because I forgot to turn the volume down. That's actually when people say things like that. It reminds me. So it reminds me of things I wanted to do. So, see you later, Shah. See you later, Shah. Thanks for tuning in. So I've had my fair share. Even like a past live stream I've done with somebody. We had a troll. Calling
I had those too.
Various things, whatever. And I made somebody on there, made them a moderator, and they just delete their messages. So it was great, and just ignore.
Yeah.
There's just you could hear this conversation a million times. People could say the same thing, that there's just, the world is full of assholes, and the best thing to do is, I just think they all deserve to be in the fire. Whoever deserves to be in the pit of fire, the hells of hell, in my opinion, if they want to give me a bad comment on my videos or whatever. Personally, I wish the dislike button on YouTube wouldn't exist. I think it really just brings the negative effect of everything 1,000 times worse. So I think every asshole that wants to be an asshole towards me or anyone else, it really drives me more, that I want to, keep doing what I'm doing. And, recently I've decided to start up my, YouTube recommendations videos again. So people are going to be seeing a lot more of that, because I stopped doing that ages ago. I don't remember the reason why. Not because of my internet shit. Again. And you just ignore the assholes. And I wish I had been. Look, you're talking about all the comments you got on Anime Me now. Oh, I'm like punching my fist right now. I would have given a going. I would have given him a mouthful. I would have given a mouthful of what I've got to say.
Well, don't worry about it. I've learned that, those types of people, they only makes me, like you said, make me want to work a little harder, and just,
Yeah, it just drives you. At the end of the day, you're just not gonna give a shit. I should just come up with a rap song personally for everyone that I know, and then play it every time if somebody's gonna be mean to them. I'll come up with a rap song.
Exactly.
Oh wow, that was kind of like up and down. Got very personal there. I don't mind getting personal.
Right? Didn't it? It got very personal.
I know I have many secrets. I'm sure Shay does as well. Don't we all have secrets?
I know.
I'm sure you guys do in the chat as well. I'll find them out. And I'll put them in my rap. Well, guys, I think we're gonna wrap up this episode of our podcast, because I know.
Yeah, I know this one was a short one.
I know Shay has to be elsewhere, but I really hope you enjoyed our episode today. And always feel free to comment below if there's anything you guys want us to talk about. we definitely will. Just comment down below. You can send it to our Twitter, whatever you guys want. I'm still currently in the process of trying to upload something to SoundCloud. I'm still trying to kind of figure that out. I'm hoping my internet can take it. But thank you guys for joining us. I had really fun. I hope you guys had fun. And as always, definitely follow us on our Twitter if you guys want to find out when we're going to be doing our next podcast. That is the place to follow us. Or you can follow me on any of our Twitters. So until then, guys, hope you had fun. This is bye-bye from Lita. You gonna say bye, Shay? Oh, are you there, Shay?
I'm there. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened to my connection.
Oh, I just totally lost you then. Whoops. Okay. So this is bye from Lita.
This is also bye from Shay. I'm sorry that my connection cut out like towards the end.
That's okay. As for me as well. We'll see you guys in the next podcast. Bye.
Bye.